Hello, my name is Sarah Cover, and I'm one of the program managers for Heart Math Tutoring. Let's have some fun with math. Today, we're going to learn how to play a 10-frame card game for subtraction, and it is from our Strategies to 20 notebook. Now, the purpose of this activity is to practice subtracting a variety of numbers using relationships to 10. For this activity, you will need a pencil or a pen, several sheets of paper, a deck of cards, and a set of 10-frame cards. Now, if you don't have your own, that's okay. They're easy to make at home. You'll need a couple sheets of paper, and then you will draw rectangles on the piece of paper, like I did here. And then on each rectangle, you're going to make sure there are 10 squares. So 5 on top, 5 on the bottom. And then finally, you're going to fill in the squares with circles or dots to represent the number that 10-frame card will be. So here on this sheet, I have 1 through 5, and then I'll do another for 6 through 10. Then, once I cut them out, I'll have 10-frame cards. So now please pause the video to take a moment and gather and perhaps create your materials, and I'll meet you back here. Welcome back. We are now going to learn how to play 10-frame card subtraction. Just like in addition, when we subtract, it is helpful to think of subtracting in terms of relationships to 10. Today we're going to learn 2 ways we can think about subtraction in 10 frames. 10 is a friendly number, and so it's always easier to use when we are adding or subtracting. Remember, 10-frame cards help us visualize the relationships to 10. A 10-frame card can hold, that's right, a value up to 10. All right, to get started, I'm going to sort my deck of cards, and I'm going to remove the face cards and all of my 10s. So I'll remove the 10, Jack, Queen, and Kings. Alright, my cards are sorted, so I'll put these to the side because I won't need them anymore. And now, I'm going to choose a starting number using my 10 frames. And I can choose any number that's between 11 and 20. And I think I'm going to choose 14. So here I have my completed 10 frames. There's 10. And then I have a 4. So I put this together. I have my 10 and 4, which is my 14. And now I'll turn over the top card in my deck. All right, so I have an 8. So my subtraction problem is going to be 14 minus 8. And now the first way I'm going to subtract is, I can take that away, is to think about breaking my 8 into 2 parts. I know one of the parts will be 4, since that is what's on my partially filled 10 frame. So here I'm breaking my 8 into 4. And now what will my other part be? And this is where I know my combination for numbers really comes in handy. Because I know that if I break 8 into 2 parts and one of them is 4, the other part will also be 4. Okay, so now I'm ready to use this knowledge to subtract 8 using my 10 frames. So if I break my 8 into 4, that means I'm taking away this part first. And now I need to take 4 more away from my completed 10. And I know after I do that, I will have 6 remaining. So back to my original problem, 14 minus 8, I just figured out is 6 because I took away 4, and I took away 4 more, and it left me with 6. Let's use the same problem to look at another way we could solve using the 10 frames and our friendly number of 10. All right, the problem is still, let's just turn it up, 14 minus 8. But this time, I'm going to take away a number from my full 10. So here I have 8, and I'm going to take away 8 from this full 10. And if I do that, I will have 2 left over. And again, this is handy to know my combination, so I don't have to count. So if I take away the 8, I know that 10 minus 8 is 2. I'll just write down what I was doing. So first I took 10 minus 8, 2. So now I have these 2 leftovers, and I'm going to add them to my 4 here. So now I have 2 plus 4 equals 6. And a way of looking, yeah, 2 plus 4 equals 6. And so now I know that's my answer. So here I solved it a different way, but I still came up with the same answer as I did when I broke up 8 into 2 parts. Which way do you like better? Both are pretty cool, so you can choose whichever way you like better when you are doing your own 10-frame subtraction. Since I answered correctly, I'm going to give myself a point, and I will play until I get to 5 points. So now I'm going to choose a new starting number. So I'll keep my full 10, and then I'll add to it. And so this time I think actually I'll start with 12. So that's my new starting number. So now I'll have 12 minus 5. All right, so my problem now will be 12 minus 5. All right, so I'm going to work on solving this problem, and it's time for you to do some practice on your own. I wonder what your first problem will be. Remember, you use the 10-frame cards to pick your starting number for your subtraction problem, and it should be a number between 11 and 20. And then you'll flip over a card from the deck to see what number you're subtracting from it. To solve, you can choose whichever way you'd like to figure out the answer. You can either break down the number into parts, or you can subtract from the full 10 and then add the remaining leftovers. But for now, I'm going to solve my 12 minus 5 and do some more problems until I get up to 5 points, and you do the same, and then I'll meet you back here. Welcome back. How did it go? I finished doing several more 10-frame subtraction problems so I could earn my 5 points, and I did a few problems by breaking the number I was subtracting into parts, and I did the rest by taking the full number from 10 and seeing what my leftover was and then adding those together. Now that you've practiced, do you have a favorite method? All right, for part 2, we're now going to play without the 10-frame cards and use only our deck of cards. And I'll still pick a starting number. So this time I think I will choose 13. That's my starting number. So I'm going to write that down here because I know that's what I'm starting with. And now I'll turn over a card from my deck so I can see what I'm subtracting. 7. So my problem is going to be 13 minus 7. And we will use the same strategies as when we had our 10-frame cards as visual. We just won't be able to see them. So let's think about where we're going to take our 7 from. I think I'm going to take it from the complete 10. So as a reminder, 13 is made up of 10 plus 3. So I'm going to take this 7 away from this 10. So I know that 10 minus 7 equals 3. And now I'm going to take these 3 leftovers and add them to this remaining 3. So 3 plus 3 equals 6. And so let's complete my problem. So I have 13 minus 7, I solved it here, equals 6. What if I would have chosen the other way to solve and broken my 7 into parts? One part would have been the 3, because those are the leftovers here. And the other part would have been, did you say 4? Yes, that's correct, because 7 is made up of 3 and 4. So again, that's really handy to know your combinations when using 10 frames to subtract. All right, so I'm going to give myself another point because I solved here. Let me get to my point sheet. Here we go. And for you, you're going to follow the directions on the next screen to complete some subtraction practice without using the 10-frame cards. Don't forget to picture your 10-frame cards in your mind and pick which way you would like to solve. Either taking a number from the completed 10 or breaking the number you're subtracting into parts. If it's helpful as you practice visualizing the 10-frame, go ahead and write down what your number is made of when it would be on a 10-frame. You might have to think a little extra hard on these ones, but take your time and think about what 10-frame cards would look like in your mind. Complete 5 problems so you can earn 5 more points, and then I'll meet you back here. How did it go? Did you make it to 10 points? I really practiced focusing on what the two 10-frame cards would look like in my mind, and when I did this, it helped me to picture where I wanted to take the number I was subtracting from. It took a little time, but the more I practiced, the better I got at visualizing the 10-frame cards. You will too. Remember, when doing 10-frame subtraction, think about the two ways you can take away the number. The first way is to break the number you're subtracting into parts. Make it easy on yourself and have one of the parts be what you see on that second 10-frame. Then take the other part away from your full 10. What you'll have left there is your final answer. The second way is to take the number you're subtracting from the full first 10-frame. Then you'll take your leftovers from that card and add it to the leftovers you have here, and that total is your final answer. You can even practice both ways. Use one way to check your work on the other. If you end up with the same answer, then you've answered it correctly. Thank you for following along. I hope you enjoyed playing 10-frame card subtraction. If you have any questions or for additional support, please check out the resources page seen here.